Our next presenter is Melody Streed. Melody is the Executive Director of LifePath Hospice and is responsible for the overall operations and care of our patients and families. She will be presenting Remember Me, Leaving a Legacy. You will find the grant summary on page 6, grant application number 9. This grant aligns with the hospice mission as it serves not only the patient, but helps a family cope with their loss. Melody has more energy and passion than the Energizer Bunny. Welcome, Melody.
Thanks. Not compared to Liz, who was renamed yesterday as Naturally Caffeinated. I don't know where she's at. So, everyone has a life story, a history, some more colorful than others, but it's the legacy that they will leave. It's the story you each have, and it's the legacy you will leave. As end-of-life specialists, which is what I believe we all truly are, we have an obligation to help patients capture their legacy and turn it into a project to leave for their loved ones. There are probably about easily 50 projects I could describe to you that I've collected over the last probably 10 years of my 25-year career. I can describe from tracing a handprint to a patient that was non-responsive, or to one that is responsive and can share with us their story, tracing their handprint and asking them, what are the 5 life lessons you would like to leave if you knew you weren't going to be here tomorrow for your loved ones? Maybe it's turning the t-shirts of a young patient who was into sports or maybe into music and taking those t-shirts and turning them into a blanket for that person's mom. Maybe it's creating a recipe book for the matriarch of a family where all those recipes are cluttered on pieces of paper that she's collected throughout the years, and now we have a volunteer help bring them together and turn them into a cookbook, an heirloom. Maybe it's as simple as one of our male patients that's a grandfather, and after he passes, or even prior, taking a blue dress shirt and turning it into a garter that can be used for weddings for generations to come. I could go on, but I'm going to expand on one story in particular. When I was a clinical social worker out in the field, I had a young hospice patient in his late 20s. He was an active duty Army, I don't know what his title was, but he was active in duty and came home from serving because he had end-stage pancreatic cancer. He was a tough guy. He wanted nothing to do with me, certainly wasn't going to have a conversation or a sit-down talk. He really didn't want much to do with the team. He was still in fighting mode, and this was a battle he was clearly losing. We often have to have courageous conversations in what we do. So one day, I bit the bullet, and as I walked into the home, he lived with his mom because he was a single dad, and she was helping care for his 3-year-old little girl. I walked by him, and I stopped after my meeting with his mother, and I said, what do you think about when you think about the fact that you won't be here for your daughter in coming years? And his jaw grew tight, and I knew it was a tough question, but it was my job to ask it. He said, I think about everything. I think about her first day of kindergarten. I think about her turning sweet 16 and me not being there to teach her how to drive. But most of all, I think that I will not be here to walk her down the aisle. So he gave me a start. I immediately left his home. I went to the local Hallmark, who became very good friends, and I asked them, I said, here's what I do for a living, and here's what I need. And they looked at me in awe, and their mouths dropped. And I said, it's not all bad, this is good. They go up into their warehouse sort of attic in the store, and they pull down a huge box, because one of the difficulties with this project is it doesn't always fit the seasons of cards that are out. And they started to collect cards for me for years to come. So I got a selection of hand-picked cards, I brought it back to him, and he spent the next 2 weeks filling them out for his daughter, for future events he would not be here for. He passed away a few weeks later. I went on with my career and my life, and I ran into his mother one day in the local Target, and she recognized me, and I saw her. She said she longs for those cards now. By that time, she was about 6 or 7, and she says we gave them to her in a sealed, waterproof envelope, which is important, and she will continue to get them until the day that she weds, and she has a card from her dad on her wedding day from him. That's a tough one, and it's very extensive. But it's something that I think all of us should do. We will train our social workers and our volunteers and any staff that want to participate. I will help do that personally. The grant is actually seeking $5,000 to create close to 150 projects, which I really hope to create during the first year that we kick this off. Everyone has a voice or a story to leave. Maybe for an end-of-life pediatric patient, it might actually sound something like this, which could be one of our projects.
Mom, I love you. I think you're so cute.
That's the story we want to create, and I thank you for helping us do it.